Well, good morning, church. And this week we're continuing on through Jonah. And I know Pastor Brandon talked about the opening, but just to recap where we're at so far, Jonah, who is described as this prophet of the Lord, and the very beginning of this book tells us that the Lord gave him this message, and Jonah, even though he's this prophet and you would expect him to be obedient to what the Lord would tell him, does the complete opposite. He tries to go in the opposite direction from where he was told to go. And then not only that, but these guys on this boat with him, there's this huge storm that comes up. He has to have some idea that it's on him, that the sailor, the captain of that ship even goes to him and says, pray to your God. He's like out of option, saying every person on this boat from wherever you're at, pray to whatever God you have, and we'll see what sticks, basically, because he just wanted out of the situation. And so finally, even though Jonah himself doesn't really admit that it was him, they cast lots and it falls on Jonah. And so they decide, okay, well, explain your situation. And so he does at that point come forward. And that's where we left off. So it says, so they said to him, what should we do to you so that the sea will calm down for us? For the sea was getting worse and worse. He answered them, pick me up and throw me into the sea so that it will calm down for you. For I know that I'm to blame for this great storm that is against you. Nevertheless, the men rowed hard to get back to dry land, but they couldn't because the sea was raging against them more and more. So they called out to the Lord, please, Lord, don't let us perish because of this man's life, and don't charge us with innocent blood. For you, Lord, have done just as you pleased. Then they picked up Jonah and threw him into the sea, and the sea stopped its raging. The men were seized by a great fear of the Lord, and they offered a sacrifice to the Lord and made vows. Now, what's interesting, at least to me through all of this, is it sure seems like these sailors who don't have the same kind of relationship with God that you would expect Jonah to, especially as an Israelite and as a prophet, they're the ones who are really displaying holy fear of the Lord, recognizing his power, but also they're the ones that offer sacrifice to him. They're the ones crying out to him. You don't really see Jonah doing that. Now, we obviously know Jonah was trying to run from God. So in his mind, maybe he still thinks that's actually possible. But man, these men showed great display of faith, recognizing the power of God and responding to it in the correct way. And I think it's also important to notice that they actually try to do everything in their power to not throw Jonah in. They tried to row back to land, and it just wasn't happening. These men are almost living more of what you'd consider a Christian life from the outside than this guy who should be living it out more. And I think that's a challenge to us. There are so many people that do come across as really loving, do these seemingly really great things, but they don't even know the Lord. And how much more should us as believers be known for loving people than the people that haven't experienced God's love, what happened on the cross in our lives? And so I hope that's a challenge to you. We're going to continue on just looking at verse 17 tomorrow. So we did 11 through 16 today, but we'll focus on just what 17 is tomorrow. And it's a really interesting verse because it kind of is a really hard verse for us to believe really happened. So we'll get there tomorrow.